If you like this video, make sure to visit our Vimeo page and follow us to get the latest update.
So in this system, this is the plant store. You'll also get access to the system. This is a plant store location warehouse. We'll be using this for our testing, and this is going to be the products. These are going to be the products you're going to use. Okay. So first, let us see, our configuration, which storage type is with pallet strategy, and then we can obviously test receipt and put it into that strategy. Okay, so this is standard. So you will, whatever errors you encounter, you will get them in standard system. Why the system is so slow? Okay, so basically, let me. So I've already told you you're aware, right, where the warehouse is assigned to a plant store location.
Yeah, those things, basic stuff I can manage, but once you start moving a little further with one project only on my resume, is not. I cannot comply with many. I think I can manage learning on my own, but I don't have the timing. Like currently, with both MM and IM and warehouse, it would be very difficult for me trying to catch up with my own at my own pace. That's why I decided to put me into your hands to speed up my process. By the way, I'm surprised that industry is not taking in many cases S/4HANA. Like last year, they invited me to also to operate big pharma, big five industry, not also using.
Yeah, the reason is they're saying it becomes too much complicated for them. They need something very simple, fast, and more tightly integrated. So EWM, has basically EWM, has requires a lot of expertise, protecting expertise, and really the warehouse has to be really good, really big enough for that, to use those many functionalities. There's no point in getting a very powerful system, but you don't really need that much. License cost is also important,
Yes.
Okay, I'm not sure how far we're going to cover like this. Just step the admin team. So we are going to see a storage type where the pallet strategy is activated, and we'll try to receive this product into that storage type. Okay, so our warehouse is 001. So you can see 001, 007 is a standard pallet storage type. Okay. So we'll understand the indicators of a pallet storage, important config of pallet storage type. So this product at the moment, it is, you understand this transaction? This is the stock.
Yes, the stock overview, yeah.
So there are
yeah, and then the first thing we start with storage and storage type and storage section indicators, right?
Yeah. So first we'll direct the stock into this area, but yeah, for understanding, let us see how things are for this product. It is now directed to 001 storage type. and this plant bestow location. Okay. Now we want to get stored into 007 because 007 is pallet storage. Okay, this is standard pallet storage. So in standard pallet storage, you can see that SU storage unit check is already active. Okay, so this is the check required to activate storage unit management. And
okay. Oh, but this is a subtle difference. I read somewhere I read that storage unit check activation is independent of storage unit management active, right? See
yeah,
above?
there's another there's another config which we'll cover. I'll come back to it. You're saying about this one, yeah. But this is also required because when a pallet comes into the storage type, okay, well, I'll come to that. Let me first tell you this, how we
Okay.
recognize that this is a pallet storage. So this is pallet storage because it has a strategy storage unit type. Okay. So in this, storage units are mandatory. It is surprised to me why in the standard system this is removed. So these are the two indicate. This is also important, yes. By default, it should have been there. So this SUT check active means when a pallet comes, this is mandatory for pallet storage. Storage, this storage unit is mandatory for pallet storage. So what happens in pallet storage? I think you are aware, we have bins, it's like a rack, something like we have already seen in EWM, something like that. Yeah. This is, let's say, the front view of the rack. This way. Okay, so this is, let's say, the front view of the rack, and then in each row, you have, several bins. Okay. So now here, based on the requirement, we can store some pallets. We can store 3 in a bin, but this is one bin. This is completely one bin. We'll say 007.01.01. So here we can store three products, 3 pallets, or we can store 2 pallets or 1 pallet depending on the type of pallet. Okay, so the moment it gets added here, it will divide it into section, temporary section 001.0.01, let's say /A, and if there are 3, it will divide it into 3 sections /B and then /C. Okay.
Okay.
And these sections are dynamic. So the moment the pallet stock is added, you will see these sections will be created, and as soon as you remove the stock, the sections will be deleted.
Oh, I see. But most of the places, most of the storage will have like a label on the bins, right?
Yeah, this will also have level. So this is one bin. This
Uh-huh.
is another bin. This is like this is the front view of a bin. So you can in front view of an aisle. Okay. So you can see this. This is level. Let's say 10, 20. So it's up to 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 8 levels high. Yeah, and this is one stack. Let's say stack, we call them as 100, 100, 200, 300. You can give any names to the stack. And let's say this aisle is, let's say, aisle 1. The entire aisle is aisle 1.
Okay.
So this becomes one bin. This becomes another bin. This becomes another bin. So basically bin needs a bin type. This becomes another bin. This becomes another bin. Okay. So then if in one bin there are 2 pallets can be stored, So as soon as this bin becomes empty, this will be deleted and system will create just two. System will create just two. Oh, sorry. System will create just two sections A and B for two pallets. So in the entire bin, we'll only have two pallets. Okay, because third we cannot accommodate in the space left.
I have a basic question, Johan. If it is dynamic, then how will the clerk identify this is the correct bin? Because it won't be labeled, right? Because if you put a label there, then it is fixed, then the bin number, right? Or
Yeah,
still we can.
see bin number is fixed. You have a for the bin you have a like a suffix, like /A/B/C. That will get added. So bin number is same, bin number is 01 that 07 0007 0.01. Let's say this is the bin number. This remains same.
Oh, I see. What is dynamic will be the section.
Will be the section which is /A/B/C. That will be dynamic. So the moment you add a part, it gets created. The moment you remove the parts, it will get deleted. The sections.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Correct.
So now storage units is mandatory for this because because in this storage type we have seen that storage unit type is mandatory. Okay. Storage unit type check is mandatory means system will always check which pallet should go into which bin. Okay. So we need to know the type of pallet. So which pallet will go to which bin, that check has to be active. This is similar to the HU type check that we had in WM. And this has to be, this also is default activated in storage. I don't know why somebody might have removed this. So storage, you can do SU type check when you're doing storage units. Yeah. So in storage unit, the storage unit type is recorded. Okay. So we'll see where the storage unit is. So I hope you're aware, what is storage unit type.
It's
like
really like a sort of container, like the type of pallet, right? Similar like.
Correct. Type of pallet, right? Similar to what we had also done in our EWM session, we created large carton, small cartons, wire basket, something like that. Okay. So there will be configurations based on.
They use I heard they use in this with this client, they use what they call a regular pallet, European pallet, and they use a lot the word skid, but I don't understand the difference between a skid and a pallet.
See, skid is like I'll show you. We have skid pallet. See, this is nothing but skid. They call this a skid. This is like some may call it as Euro pallet, some may call it a skid. It's a wooden frame on which the products are kept or the pallet is kept, and they are bubble wrapped.
And what's the difference with a regular pallet? Because to me, this is also a pallet.
Yeah, this is also pallet. Some company may call this a skid.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes,
I think it was a Canadian user referring it to as a skid.
Yeah. Okay. See here, somebody has said, like a pallet with bottom decks or a skid without bottom. Okay. Horizontal composite platform, shipping multiple material up and pallet, hauling by forklift. So this is a skid mostly for heavy machine.
Skid is a pallet without a bottom deck board.
So it's like something like this, for like a better frame to attach, but it's more or less, it's made of this frame only. It's like a pallet only. See, if you want to go in more detail, you'll find it here. See this. This is how it looks. This is yeah. No bottom deck, and this is more for strength, and this is more for giving a plain surface for placing the part.
Okay.
But yeah, essentially they in DWM there will be different types of palette type. That's it. Then coming to the other configurations. Okay. So let me take this product and let's look at the WM view.
So, Johan, if I understood correctly, we enable sections because we need to tell the system somehow the type and the limitations of the bin, and that only can be accomplished via storage sections. Is that correct?
Not really. Storage, it's not about limitation. The storage section is basically, see, if you have a storage type, okay, and you have different bins, now you want to group them together. See, the very typical example that we can take is 1 minute. Very typical example we can take is of these bins which are at low level. You want the parts, these are easily accessible, right? So you want certain parts to directly come here rather than going on top. So because they are fast moving parts, so these bins which are at lower level, we will assign them to one section. So basically we are splitting the storage type, and using sections we are controlling where the product should go and where it should not go.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move on to some more config. Post picking storage type, batch managed, stock placement. So put away control indicator will direct the product to that storage type, okay, using put away control indicator. Let's see, if TK indicator, what this indicator does. You understand this indicators and the strategies?
Yeah, we will need indicator to allocate the next step, which is the actual definition, the detailed definition of the storage share strategy, right?
So here, in the put away strategy, we give a sequence, what should be followed by system. So now we want this product to directly go to 007. We'll see whether the strategy is in place or not. Okay. So I'm going to come here and check, which strategy, if there is an existing strategy which I can use, we should push the material to 007, or I'll create my own strategy. So this pallet storage, it's a put away strategy. Okay. This config. Okay, it's taking some time. Let me open another transaction in the meantime. Okay. So here you can see, I don't
Yeah.
see anywhere 007, yeah. So this is a search sequence. Okay.
Mhm.
So what we can say here is we'll create our own search sequence, our own indicator for the product, and then we'll say, you know, when it comes for put away, it should go into 007. Okay. So I'm going to create a
Okay.
new indicator. So I'm just going to maybe copy this existing one and give a name. Copy this, give name, say Pallet storage. Okay. Then
Okay.
for this indicator, we'll give a sequence, what sequence system should follow. So here for this product, excuse me. We'll see the new indicator now. It's not yet. Yeah, Pallet goods 007. I save that as 007. Okay, I created 007. Yeah, Pallet storage indicator, but to my surprise, it was giving me a description here as strange. And if I see the description here, it is showing pallet goods. Here I give pallet storage. Stock placement. Yes, we're talking about stock placement only. Okay, now it's coming up correctly.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now here A stands for
Entry and then out
stock
put a
removal.
removal. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Entry and put away.
E stands for E stands for put away. So we're going to copy this and say 007. Direct the stock to 007.
And our indicator, right?
Yeah,
We need
and
indicator.
indicator 007. Okay.
I've seen samples where they use 2 or 3 what do you call asterisk on the what does it mean when you put asterisk? Like sometimes I've seen in some places they used 1, 2, 3
Yeah.
asterisks.
So that means, it's a, see, basically, if we do it in stock removal, okay.
Mhm.
So we do that if at all there are, if we do that, if at all there are, when you do a removal, stock removal, and you want to search across storage type. So you don't want to give a sequence. You want to do a FIFO, search everywhere.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
That's a, like a stringent FIFO.
Okay. Whatever it is, you go there.
Yeah, wherever you find the oldest stock pick, there is no search sequence, search everywhere.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's look at some more configuration before we receive this part. First, let us activate the storage unit management at warehouse level. Make sure it's activated. So this storage unit management as compared to handling unit, this will only be and only be in WM. When you add the stock, when you remove the stock from WM, it goes. It's a pallet ID given within the warehouse. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's basically, so my understanding, because I was reading it across the week, is that you would like to use one unit when you are interested in tracking across the whole supply chain.
Yeah, you want to give that number, the handling unit number um, to your customer, or
Mhm.
you get a handling unit number from a supplier. That's where you use handling unit management. So when you get a handling unit number from a supplier, you receive the same number. You don't print it again. Yeah, you use the same handling unit from a supplier, same number. You don't have to again create a handling unit, and the same number gets stored into your warehouse. You'll see that handling unit number in your stock.
Okay. And because we are manufacturing, we don't need to track anything until we have a finished product. That's why handling unit is only at the finished product.
Yeah, it seems you are not using EWM. Oh, sorry, WM for for finished product, right?
Yes, manufacturing. They said it won't. It's only finished products. They are only taking handling units. The rest of the warehouse is not, and it's
So,
understandable. We don't need warehouse for manufacturing facility, right?
so will you be responsible for that? Because if they're receiving, it's PP team. That there are transaction in for packing and receiving against handling units in PP. So that doesn't come to warehouse management team. If at all they are receiving the finished product with handling units.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see. We will do the production supply. That time we'll discuss
So you
about
mean this
receive.
is only done by at IM level?
IM level, yeah. If they don't keep it in warehouse, they store it in IM, and IM PP has a separate transaction to receive handling units. But yeah, mm, they may, depending on the company, it may come to you as IM or it may not come. Or they may tell you to configure handling unit management for them, something like that. We'll see that solution. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you can see here SU management is active for this warehouse. Then the number ranges are, let's make sure the number range is also maintained. So yeah, the number ranges are also maintained. It should also have some interval. So interval was 0, 1 and range was 0, 1 and 2. Yeah, 0, 1 is there. Okay. Then defense switch type control, I think you've already done this. The activation of SUT at storage type level. Yes, so in our storage type 001, SUT is active. SUT SUM is active. SUT is different check. Then we're not using this. Okay. It's not used for pallet storage now. Let's come back to the product master. Okay.
Okay.
So now here we need to say, which SUT will be used, which storage unit type will be used. Okay. And how much quantity belongs to one storage unit. So basically, if I'm getting 10, quantity is 100, my per pallet quantity is 10. So I will enter the, the pallet or a skid here, information and how much quantity it is. So what I'm going to do here is I'll try to refer the existing configuration. So this is the configuration for pallet storage. In put away strategy, we have pallet storage. This is the existing configuration, which I'm going to refer so that, I don't have to, I'm going to use the existing storage unit type. You can create your own storage unit type, like the pallet, the skids, the crates and all. But I'm using the ones which are already created. Yeah, hope that's okay.
Okay.
So yeah, this is basically the strategy. Pallet strategy is P, indicator is P is set for 007. Now here you can see the sections. Okay, so in standard system, comes with this config, but yeah, you can change this if you want. Okay. So here we are going to create sections, what section system should create A, B, C, X, Y, Z, and so on. Just create the sections here.
And the number of sections to be created dynamically will depend
Yeah.
on the pallet type, right?
Yeah, that will be here defined in the next config. So here, oops, there is no section here in 001. I'm surprised. So what we'll do, we'll say here warehouse 001. Okay. We'll have 3 sections, A, B, C. Okay. And we will have number of items. A will say 5, B will say it has 4. And when there are 5 and C, I'll say 3. When it is 5, it creates, when it is 5, it creates 5 section. Okay. When it is 4, it creates 4 section, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And when it is 3, it creates 3 section ABC. Or I can also give for 4 section ABC. It's up to me. Okay. How this, I've just kept it same. How this slash, whether it shows slash A, slash B, slash C, or it shows 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So let's save it. So let's say, this product gets stored into 3 sections. We'll do the next config accordingly. Okay.
So that means section A we hold 5 pallets, section B 4 pallets.
Yeah, section B 4 pallets, section A 5 pallets, yeah. C 3 pallets. Now we need to assign it to a pallet, whether it's a skid or a pallet, what we assign, how many sections we assign, we will decide here. So there are two types of pallets, P1 and P2. Okay, these are two types of pallets, P1 and P2 in the standard system. I'll use the same, yeah. So let's say P1 is a Euro pallet, P2 is a skid or a crate or a normal pallet. So what then we also have storage type is warehouse is 001, storage type is 007. Okay, so P1 number of sections we said is we're going to store it in P1. Number of section we'll say C, that is 3 section, and P2 we'll say B, 4 section. But you also see something like a bin type. Now all bins /o ls11, all bins in 007 should have a bin type. So here you can see in the standard system, so many bins are having bin type P1, and there we can also, some of them we can just do and assign them to P2.
Okay.
You need to must change and change them to P2. So bins are of 2 types, right? Yeah, bins can be of several types. So here, if you see, there are some bins which are of this size that, we can store 3 and 2, but, sometimes the bins can be of different size. Let's say there is one aisle here, which has, just delete, yeah, which is a different bin. So this is P1, for example, which is this size. We have a different size here, kind of P2, where we can only store 2 pallets or 1 pallet. Here it is 3 or 2. Okay. Here it is 3 or 2. Here it will be 2 or 1. Yeah. So the last pallet, because due to pillars, it couldn't, due to there's a pillar here, due to that, they couldn't have a, bigger size, similar size, yeah, enough space or similar size for this one. Yeah. So your bins, based on your size, those many bin types will create.
So in this case, for example, the stack 300 should always have this storage bin type for P2, right?
Yeah.
Because physical limitation.
Physical limitation, but what we can do is certain pallets, certain big pallets, you can tell them, go to P2 and certain pallets. So basically we can also control, where the product goes here. Now in this case, what we'll say that this pallet, its quantity is 10. Okay. Is it pieces or something? Just give me 1 minute. Let me check. Basic view. We'll come back to this config. So here, bin type P1. If a P1 pallet comes, okay, here we'll design all the rules. Okay. So let's say if it is a P1 pallet in let me put it in Excel because system is very slow. So what we can do here is, for example, we have bin type P1, P2, okay, and we also have pallet type P1 and P2. Okay, so now here we'll set up a combination. We are saying, if P1 comes into P1, okay, SUT, storage unit type, and let's say pallet type, and I'll say number of sections. So here we define, whether we want to have or we don't want to have. For example, if the pallet is coming in, in pallet 1, let's say is skid, pallet 2 is a crate, for example. So here we are saying, in bin P1, if skid comes 3. In pallet P1, if crate comes 2. In pallet P2, in bin P2 here, I don't want to allow skid, only want to allow crate. So I'll not maintain an entry for LC number of section 1. I'll not maintain any entry for P1 into P2 into P. I'll not maintain this entry. See, not storage not possible. Because if it comes in skid, I cannot store them here.
Yeah.
Because it is not an optimum, because I cannot store 1.5. It's better to, not store them. Let's all get all the crates only here. So that combination you don't maintain. Okay.
Okay.
So like that, you can control which pallet goes into which type of bin, where it is allowed, and how many sections it will occupy.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So now the base unit of measure is ST. I'll come to WM2 view. I'll say we'll receive 100 pieces and let's say 10
But
pieces are in one pallet. Yeah.
we need to we need to finish till that configuration, right?
That configuration also, that's opening. So I'm parallelly coming here and maintaining this. So we'll say that it comes into a Euro pallet. Yeah. It comes into a skid. This material. 10 pieces per skid. This is the palletization quantity for this.
Oh, but this is master data, not
This
configuration.
this is for this material. We are saying in the master data that this much piece will be coming into a. Now here we also need to define, right? Now this is at a pallet level, but now how much stock is there within one pallet? Like I'm going to receive this material, but system needs to know how many pieces can come into a skid, how many pieces can come into a crate.
Okay.
Okay, so that I'm maintaining it here, that this material comes into crate and 10 pieces or 10 SD are part of one crate. Okay, so now here it tells me that it's not allowed in this warehouse. You're not allowed to store P1 type of pallet. So we'll go and allow this pallet into the warehouse. So basically, when we receive pallets, we have to tell the system, okay, that which pallets are allowed and which pallets are not allowed. Okay, so for example, if a warehouse is a high temperature warehouse, we will not allow plastic pallets into that warehouse, right? So
Mhm.
this is a control. So let's do that control, because otherwise it is not allowing us to store the config. So I'll do the setting here somewhere. Yeah. See here in this config, we define all the bin types and storage unit type. I'm already using the existing ones. Okay. So storage unit type is defined over here. So you can see for 001, P1 and P2 are not defined here. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'll go and copy P1 and P2 from somewhere where it already exists. Yeah, like this. Okay.
This particular strategy it's the one that takes longer steps for configuration, right?
Yeah, yeah. This and the bulk strategy take a lot of time. Others are, mostly at storage type level. We can do the settings.
But this will bring more flexibility to the warehouse using SU with
Mm,
palletization, right?
Not really.
No.
See, generally, see, this strategy is not used much because ideally, business they have pallet. They have pallet storage, something like this, like this. Every pallet into a storage bin, one bin per pallet. That's how we store. Every bin just one pallet. That's it. Here one pallet. Here one pallet. This is a special strategy. Not used everywhere. But this is like a high rack storage. You have one bin per pallet. Always product comes, a next empty bin is given to that pallet, and it keeps on going further. So this is mostly used. And some of these configurations are repeated in that, because like whether you want to allow pallet in this, let's say the storage type is 001, whether you want to allow P1 P2 in 001 or you don't want to allow, that you can control here. That also same configuration will control here. This
Okay.
configuration. So P1 P2, if I want to allow in Euro pallet, all these pallet configurations will be repeated there. So only difference will be this config. Number of section config that we did here, only this configuration is going to be different. Otherwise, every configuration is we need it for high rack storage also.
Okay.
So only this section piece is coming new. Otherwise, everything else is, if you don't do this section thing, you activate the high rack storage strategy, then the only difference is it's not going to create these temporary sections. It will be just one bin pallet. So generally, warehouses, they design this way, one bin per pallet, it makes it easier for them.
Okay.
Okay. So now we are saying, that if it is bin type P1, if a Euro pallet is coming, make 3 section. If a crate is, if a skid is coming, make 3 sections. If crate is coming, make 4 sections. So this is the only config for pallet strategy. What other config we did are basically for all the pallets, all the storage type that store handling units or storage units. Okay, so here in this assignment, we say which storage unit. So now here, for example, we have activated storage unit check. That is, we have select that SUT check. Okay, it can be used for high rack. It can be used for bulk storage. It can be used for pallet storage. It can be used in several storages. Okay, you will see several storage have this check activated. Now, what is this configuration which comes up? This storage bin type search. What is this configuration? So once you activated storage type check, config of storage unit type check is mandatory. So what it does, it tells the system first which pallets. When I say pallet, it means the SU type. Yeah. Yeah. Which pallet is allowed in warehouse and which pallet is then allowed in storage type. Because it may be allowed in the warehouse, but it may not be allowed in some areas. Like the plastic pallet may be allowed in the warehouse, but not in certain storage type. Which pallet is allowed in which storage type? Okay, so that becomes important. So basically in high rack pallet, which pallet types are allowed, and then which bin types those pallets will be stored. Right. So now if you visualize it, you have a pallet. Now you say, okay, it's allowed in the warehouse. First criteria passed. Second criteria is allowed in storage type. Yes, passed. Now, which bin type? No, we have several types of bin: P1, P2, small bin, large bin. So which bin type it is allowed? That check we did here, right? I told you I'm not going to maintain P1 into P2, P2 into P2 kind of. I said I'm not going to have a P2 storage in P1 kind of bin. Yeah. This combination I said I'm not going to have this combination. So this is where I control, which bin the product is allowed and which bin the product is not allowed. Okay. Sorry, which bin the pallet is allowed and which bin the pallet is not allowed. So these three configurations, we have to do once we activate SUT. SUT means activation of pallet storage into a warehouse. So then the pallet type and bin type, they play a very important role.
Okay.
So here you can see in 001, 007, it is saying, E1 is allowed, E2 is allowed, IP is allowed. That means this is the second config here. Okay. But P1 and P2 are not allowed in standard system. So I'm going to allow P1 and P2 also here. So similar config is there. 001 is a high rack storage. Similar config is there for high rack storage also.
And the sequence is relevant also, Johan?
Sequence is not important here.
Okay. Everything started with U1, but this is just because
it's basically allowing, it's allowing, Okay, so the changes. Okay, now in which bin type, this is the third thing, which bin type, which pallet is allowed. So we have given here the sections, which number of sections, but P1 P2 is not allowed in P1. That config can also be done here. So as I said, this configuration is common for all the strategies. Okay. For pallet strategy, we have this additional configuration, but for high rack bulk, they use this configuration to control which pallet is allowed in which bin. So far, what we have done is a list on all the configs master data and config we have done is master data first. In material master, by the time it gets saved, let us do a recap before we start testing. Master data in only material master we have maintained. Okay. We have maintained the stock put away indicator. Yeah. And then we have maintained the palletization quantity. Okay. And what else you have done? That's it in terms of configuration. What we did today so far, we have created a put away control indicator. That's passy. Then we assigned a search sequence to it. And then the next setting was here in the master data. Okay. Then we went to pallet storage configuration. So we in storage type 007, we first activated SUM because it was inactive, storage unit management. Okay. Then what we did, we created sections for pallet storage. And we assign those sections to pallet storage. And now we are doing the third set of config, which is SUT check. This one. This config was strategy, part of strategy. This config was only for pallet storage. And now we are doing SUT check, where we are doing this three things. Yeah, I hope you are clear now where we are.
Yes. It was a little more extensive than expected, but it's fine. Yeah, the recap is good.
Yeah, so the reason we are using we are basically this store warehouse does not have the setup in place. Otherwise, if everything is in place, then it's really quick. Now here, what you can do is, I'll say warehouse 001 or 001, and if the pallet is storage unit pallet is B1, storage unit type. So storage unit type is this is bin type. So if a pallet comes in P1, I want to allow it in P1 and P2. If a pallet comes in P2, I only want to allow it in. If a pallet comes in P2, I only want to allow it in P2. I don't want to allow it in P1. Okay. So I'll only maintain P2 here. Why this is not maintained? Looks like P2 bin type is not created or somebody deleted it from the warehouse. Let me create it quickly. So if you go for another warehouse, if you go for, another storage type, let's say, if you go for the high, high rack storage, all these configs will be valid. Just we don't need this config for pallet storage. This will be still required and this will still be required. We'll see, if we are testing any other inbound, we'll try to do a high rack storage test also.
Okay.
That's what is mostly used, in warehouses. The config that is already done. Master data. Save it now.
The server is based in India.
Yeah, it is based in
It's
India.
11:45. This is only Indian time.
Yeah. P2, it is saying not allowed. Go into the setting here. P2 bin type is not allowed, it says. You can see somebody has created P1 but hasn't created P2. The only reason, I took this server because or this warehouse for testing because it had some data, and then I manually closed all the periods since 2015. I made it working. I test some inbounds, outbounds. The
Oh,
very first system I got, I kind of configured it to work.
you will grant me access for my exercises here, Johan?
Yeah, you will have access to the system. You can raise it on a discussion board that you need access, like how you do it for your normal system. You raise it here.
Alex told me this all server services is on your side, like you will grant me, or
No, it's not on my side. It's
no?
basically stored by, it is done by them only. I mean, the Zerantic team only.
Oh no, they will take at least 3-4 days. I need to practice soon. This one in particular.
Yeah. So I'll be sharing this data sheet, I like how I used to share in WM, this has all the data here.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think we are discussing this today. Now it will store the config. P2 goes only in P2. P2, we don't allow P1. So here we have completed all our configuration. Now it's time to test. And what I'll do is I will create a good receipt. My goal, let me see. With I'll not create a purchase order. Let me do a quick receipt with 501 movement type just to see, how the put away works in the warehouse. We can also receive against a purchase order, but I'm not trying to do that today. The behavior should be same.
As a good practice, always a good receipt should come with inbound delivery, right? This is a very this is best practice as per SAP.
No,
Not really.
And you can also work without inbound delivery as well. See, basically, if the main problem with EWM is, it needs inbound delivery, but WM doesn't need inbound delivery. You can directly use MyGo. So if your vendor is not giving you ASNs, then you don't need to, you don't need to still create inbound delivery. You can directly go in MyGo and create your goods movement.
Oh, okay. Now I know they will use inbound delivery because I think pharma being a very very controlled practice, they will use ASNs from most vendors or packagers.
Okay, that's fine. Even if it's inbound delivery, you can still create them and use them. So let me do a 501 and see. If not, then I'll get a purchase order and do the receipt. Okay, just come out of this transaction because server team is saying restarted transaction speed is up. Okay, it's better now. So here you can see the palletization quantity has come up.
Yeah.
Okay, and posted.
So this thing can mean boxes, baskets, or whatever, right? In the quantity.
Sorry.
So SUT stands for the pallet. So one P1 pallet can contain 10, but the 10 can mean boxes or cartoons or liters, whatever, right? So the 10 doesn't necessarily means 10, because this is confusing sometimes, because when you say 10 what, so we need to refer to the base unit of measure for the material, right?
Yeah, you see, yeah, we maintain the conversion, for how much it takes for 1 unit of measure. That's correct. Yeah. So this is 10 ST into 1 pallet. That is a conversion.
Okay, you went okay.
So now system will try to create a TO. Yeah, right? What is TO?
Not first transfer requirement, right?
Yeah, so transfer requirement system has created. I will show you the TR number. That is
Oh,
created
yes,
in
yes, yes.
background.
Yeah,
And now
it got
system is trying to
created in the background. Correct. Yes, you are correct.
TR got created, and now automatically, system is now taking
Yeah.
us to a transaction where we can create a TO. And I'll say foreground.
Yeah, it's got there. Destination 007, section A. It's coming from storage, interim storage 902, destination 007.
Yeah, now you can see system is creating cons here, storage units here. This is a storage unit, yeah. So 10 piece section A, the same bin now section B, a different SU, section C, different SU. Again, it will keep on creating SUs for each. See, so many SUs, and it is creating 333 section in one bin. All are in P1.
So how many did you enter on the movement type 561?
How many?
Yeah, I think.
How many jointers? I didn't get your question. Sorry.
How much was the quantity when you did
100. It was 100, and
okay. So
per
10
pallet
items
quantity is
of
10.
yes, correct.
So 10 pallets, and they go into 10 bins. 4 bins. First bin it created 3 sections. Second bin it created 3 sections. Third bin it created 3 sections. Fourth bin it created 1 section.
Okay.
Okay, now when we remove it, these sections will keep on getting deleted. That's how the pallet strategy works. Okay, I'll say generate plus next. I'll save the TO. Yeah. For now, I'll confirm the TO here itself in this desktop itself. As we go ahead, we'll see other ways of confirming the TO. The TO number is 203. We have transaction LT12 to confirm a TO. So what confirmation does, through confirmation, we tell the system that that we have placed a part into that bin. Now this is still in the WE zone, which is like a GR area. And now when we place the part into the final bin, the TO gets confirmed. Yeah. So after we confirm the TO, we'll see the stock. Now you can see in 007, there are 100 pieces. If you go in detail, you see the storage unit numbers. Yeah, which storage unit is stored in that. So basically storage unit is number given to each pallet, each skid, or each crate, whatever. So that is what is storage unit all about. And once you take the stock out of the warehouse, this number gets deleted.
Okay, and then within the warehouse, we have to print the label for storage unit because we don't have handling units, right? So there is
That's
a
correct, yeah.
specific transaction for controlling the printing of this. I know this is another topic. It's just I just want to be aware of.
Yeah, we will discuss about printing of storage units or any other WM object. How do you print them?
Mhm.
At which stage? So generally we print it. We can print at TO level. We can print at a storage unit level. We'll discuss that as we go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
So this was pallet strategy. Any question? Are we clear on this one? We did one put away into the pallet storage. This is, we got our SU management active. We have a storage type. We have SUs now. Similar, setup we will do for other storage types and try to create more and more SUs as and when we go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Of course, I need to go again through the whole exercise and let's see if they can. Yeah, let's see if they can grant me access by this weekend. Do I need to raise this ticket within the LMS tool, right?
Yes, yes.
And they will know the details, like the name of the server and from which server we are taking the
Just
access.
tell them that this is this is basically the same Johan is using.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll just quickly update this so that they can start loading the recording. Oops, I don't have the access. Yeah. So we discussed the pallet storage and
You think they can provide a recording within the next 2 days or within tomorrow?
yeah, they will be able to provide you. So that they'll update this one. So now tomorrow, what do we discuss then? Which topic shall we take tomorrow? So we have, let's talk about tomorrow in terms of some more strategies. Yeah. So this we discussed about a pallet strategy. Let's talk about more strategies. Since we have started strategy, we have we have started discussion about we have started discussion on the pallet strategy. Let's look at the other strategies, discuss them. What is FIFO, LIFO? Okay, there is no such strategy like HU or SU. Strategies remain same irrespective of HUs and SU. So today we have covered one strategy. Let's discuss other strategies tomorrow.
Like high rack, you mean high rack and maybe bulk?
Yeah, we can discuss them. Yeah.
Okay.
And
okay.
We'll discuss all of them, and then we'll go to the config for high rack and bulk. Okay, what are the additional configuration required? So this we'll cover tomorrow, and then maybe we will spend more time on the labeling and RF next week, maybe.
Yeah, labeling. I think it is particular. From what they asked me on the interview, there's a lot of issues around labeling because there's a particular brand which uses generic labels, and only when the actual client is sending out it's like they have a demand per season. So only when they have the actual trade that will go into the level, they will, I think they will use something like what they call revision level for the packaging material in order to create a different level.
Mhm.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
I think
understand,
this, okay. I think this is basically what I will face in the workshops. Workshops will start
Yeah,
not
workshops.
not this week, but the week after, because we're gonna first go into integration with production planning, procurement, and on the second week we will start first topics on around warehouse discussion. So I
Okay.
still have, I will like, yeah, I think by next Saturday we'll be able to talk more in detail about leveling. I will feel more comfortable with my workshops.
Yeah, you should be comfortable with strategies to start with, because there'll be a lot of
Yeah.
questions out there as talk about. So let's focus on strategy tomorrow again. And then we can slowly, picking and yeah, we'll slowly pick up other topics. Then we'll pick up picking, quality, and then production. Let's complete the inbound and outbound strategies because the same is applicable for all scenarios.
Okay. We'll do also tomorrow outbound, right? For at least one of these strategies. Well, I don't
Yeah,
think there's too much, there is not too much difference. It's just, no, there will be some difference.
yeah, we'll go through the configs and we'll see how the strategies are configured first. Okay, and then we'll decide, pick and choose one or two strategies we'll test. Others you can test it out yourself. Okay, and one or
Okay.
two which we feel we should go together. Others you can practice yourself and then you can discuss if you're stuck somewhere.
Okay.
I'll tell you the ones which should be a priority, which will definitely be there. Not all strategies are used everywhere. Like if I thought you're specifically looking for Pallet, I would have not suggested you to go through Pallet strategy. It's not used everywhere. So, but yeah, that's fine. It's always good to know. And obviously, by covering Pallet, we have almost covered 80-90% of bulk and high rack. So we'll continue our discussion tomorrow on those two strategies. Okay.
Okay.
So these were the configs for Pallet strategy. Tomorrow we'll discuss the configs for others also.
Thank you, Johan.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to visit our Vimeo page and follow for more upcoming videos.